Chris Roebuck is a British economist and former head of leadership at UBS, and he joins us now. Thanks for being with us today, Chris. This move was designed to calm markets. Overnight in Asia and today in Europe, there was an initial sell-off, a slump in across the markets in general, although now the indices, the main indices, the FTSE and the likes of that, are around the break-even point again. So does it suggest that actually it's worked?
It's moving in the right direction, which will no doubt please the Swiss government and central bankers around the world, but also bank customers. We'll obviously have to see if that trend continues. Certainly, it also depends on what happens in relation to the actual plan that is put forward around leadership, around culture, around risk. How you get two banks of this size to work as one bank.
Indeed. In normal circumstances, the two biggest financial institutions in Switzerland, a merger between them would be blocked on competition grounds, but this is an emergency rescue. Do you see this structure being allowed to continue for the foreseeable future, or will there come a point where the regulator says, no, you're too big now, you got to split up again?
Well, I think that is down to the Swiss government and their perception of the stability that is required. Because of all governments in the world, it's the Swiss government that likes the stability in the financial market with their banking system, because the banking system is so critical to the overall Swiss economy. In terms of, is it a monopoly? If you look at what Credit Suisse does and UBS does, first of all, there's retail banking in Switzerland, branches on the high street. Now, fundamentally, you're not going to have two of the same branches on every single high street. So there's going to be fallout there. There's going to be redundancies. Branches are going to close. But also in Switzerland, there are a number of local banks that many people bank with just for normal banking purposes. So it's not as if UBS is going to have a complete monopoly. Outside Switzerland, obviously, there is private banking for ultra high net worth people across the world. There's investment banking and there's asset management. That is duplicated across UBS and Credit Suisse. Now, inevitably, what is going to happen is that UBS is going to cut in to the Credit Suisse elements. One, because it's got its own people, but two, because the reason that Credit Suisse is where it is now is that it did not learn the lessons of the financial crisis. Repeatedly since then, they had a tendency to go for making money at all costs, risk management that was questionable, the fact that leadership was about making money, not necessarily integrity. UBS does not want that sort of toxic culture getting into its own bank.
Okay, Chris Roebuck, thank you very much for joining us with your thoughts
Pleasure.
today.